talk too early. Oh, Indaba, talking my business isinto. Nazo zonke indaba zabasha.
So on the show namhlanje, what have we got on the menu? So besikhuluma la spokesperson Sir Jacob Zuma Foundation. Mzwanele Manyi is going to be my guest between now and 7, and from 7 to 8 being Tuesday, we're talking matters insurance with the South African Insurance Association SAIA. So mawufuna ingxenye yohlelo, I'm inviting you. Ungaqala ufone manje ku 031 537 3000. That's my number. 031 537 3000, and on the socials, Facebook Indaba with Alex. I'm on Twitter, nago Instagram as well. Mr. Manyi, welcome to Kakasi. Sijabulisi sibe nawe la studio sethu seKakasini namhlanje sivama ukukhuluma nawe over the phone. Welcome to Kakasi.
Siyabonga Baba Umthiyane, and siyabonga kubalaleli beGagasi FM. It's good to be here.
No, siyabonga. When we started to sikhuluma nawe la, into abantu abaningi bebekade be interested kuyona is impilo kaNxamalala, okay? And what is the current situation yakhe impilo umsholozi as esikhuluma nje?
Well, look, right now umsholozi usasibhedlele. Usamele doctor ukuthi beze ne full medical report after all the various tests that they have done kuye. So salinde lokho utho doctor bathini, kodwa njengakusho ebantwini ukuthi awucha amaphapha awehle, umsholozi ukahle, amaphapha awehle, umsholozi uye lapha not because ebegula, azange kuvukwe ekseni ukuthi hey siyaphuthuma manje nanku umuntu uyagula gijima uyesibhedlela cha. Zange kube njalo into enzikile ukuthi le date idate beyikade ehleliwe noma umsholozi beyile ejele noma mengayanga ejele idate bilokimile so sibheke lokho ke thina ke manje so siyathemba nje ukuthi la evikini abo doctor bazoyiqeda indaba yabo umsholozi uzobe yaphuma kube kulunge konke.
All right, no siyabonga leyo feedback. Now bekade kulindele ukuthi avele High Court le nkantolo yamajaji eMaritzburg for the Amstel case, but ngenxa yalokugula ke ukhuluma ngakho then akawazanga ukuthi avele. How did abameli bakhe and the NPA reach isivumelwano sokuthi well the date namhlanje ayihlehliswe?
Bavume ngoba uclear ukuthi khona manje umsholozi usezandleni zabanye doctor basamcheck ukuthi impilo yakhe yonke iqondile so zonke into zisame lapho manje and basibe clear ukuthi umsholozi akaguli njengamanje ayibe clear lo ndaba akaguli uye lapha for a check up manje i check up umuntu omdala or noma umdalanga mawuye for a check up kulaba bangazi what sometimes happens ukuthi uthola ukuthi benza ama blood test bathatha ama 6-7 test ama test tubes igazi nje eliningi and so on bese bayamba bol check and all of that bolhlola after that ke bese bayabuya ke bathi cha una cholesterol awuna cholesterol unani awunani into ezinjalo nje bese kusuka lapho ke bese ba issue a medical report.
Sure.
So into esilindile manje ukuthi kubuye lawo ma test bese abo doctor bayahlola ba analyze bese bayasho ukuthi cha clean bill of health noma cha.
Okay, you had to state one second opinion on this matter. How do you interpret that?
We are very worried actually for us as a foundation, the attitude of the state, particularly when it comes to His Excellency President Zuma. We are very worried. It's a very distasteful approach. It's a very uncouth approach. It's an approach that has got no confidence in the system itself. And I mean, this is not happening for the first time. This is the third time that this kind of clumsiness is happening from the state, and particularly from judiciary itself and officers of the court. The first instance was in Pietermaritzburg when such a thing happened, where President Zuma's medical certificate was cross-questioned as if he has just done it at a taxi rank or something, and all of that. That was the first instance. And this was done by a constitutional court judge that was acting in Pietermaritzburg court.
Yeah.
Something that is just totally unacceptable.
Sure.
Let me just continue. Wait.
Yes. I'm allowed to be brief.
Yeah.
Sure.
Secondly, It was also done by Deputy Chief Justice Zondo at the commission when President Zuma was reporting issues around his medical. And he said something very unprecedented, that he wants to go and check with the medical doctors himself. I mean, can you imagine this? This is a lawyer or a judge that wants to go and have some interaction with medical people. This is all because he doesn't trust President Zuma and all that, and he wants to go and check if what is being told is actually the truth. Thirdly, today, we get a similar situation where a military hospital, an institution that has been assigned to deal with medical issues, including of head of states. Now, if an institution like that has issued a report, and then you get some lawyer, a private lawyer hired by the NPA, that's going to come and try to trivialize that medical... Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So we'll be dealing with that thing formally.
6:10. Masanda kusijoyina. My guest namhlanje is the spokesperson Jacob Zuma Foundation, Mzwanele Manyi. I'm taking calls again, questions, and wafisa futhi ukuthi umthathe on izinto azishoyo. Inumber 031-537-3000 on the socials. Just to remind you, nama voice note ungawathumela kule number 078-934-2827. Now let's just talk about into esesemehlweni abantu now, the unrest that we saw iqale in KZN yakapakela ezweni lonke. Kuqale kuthiwa i-Free Zuma campaign, and then ke kwase kuzoba the looting that we saw. How do you react nina njenge foundation from how the issues unfolded from qala kuthiwa akadedelwe uZuma kwaze kwazoba ke where we ended up at?
Yeah, look, let me just be clear. Ukuthi, when that happened, there were a lot of calls. Uguti Foundation must condemn the looting. Foundation must condemn all of this thing, and the foundation did not do any of that, and for a very good reason. Firstly, as the foundation, we never incited violence. As the foundation, we never asked anybody to do anything that was unlawful and any of that. But we took the view that when we were asked, why don't you condemn this? We took the view that if we condemned this violence and maybe having condemned it, it then stopped. What that would have done, it would have centered the foundation as the commander-in-chief of the distraction forces, because then you would have forces that are listening to the foundation or listening to the Zuma side of the voice. And if there was a voice purported to be from President Zuma that said, hey, everybody, anyegeleni and all of that. Yes. Also, secondly, if, for instance, a foundation had spoken and said, and all of that and the looting, again, a headline would have been, President Zuma has lost control. His people they're not even listening to him and all of that. But at the end of the story, insurrection, the face of this insurrection would have been President Zuma. So I think the foundation was very strategic in not getting itself involved in commenting on this thing, and by so doing, we have saved ourselves from being the so-called insurrectors.
Manyi, let me get this as well from you now that ukhuluma about that. On the evening yangalolu lwesithathu, umsholozi azinikela ngayo ejele, kwareportwa ukuthi uMakhumalo impilo yakhe was compromised. How is she doing now?
I'll be lying to you. I haven't interacted with her, but ngiyathemba nje angezwa kulutho oltheni ngaye. But going back to the initial story,
yakhumbula kune ambulance eyabonakala ingena yaqala yavinjwa, then kwathiwa ifonelo.
It must be expected. That was a very difficult time for anybody associated with umsholozi on that day. Now, if kuthiwa mhlambe kwakuye and all of that, I'm not here to be denying anything. Whatever bathi yenzeka, if yenzekile kwakumele yenzeke, because it was a very shocking thing. So it was an unexpected thing. It was a very tragic day. This is the reason that umsholozi must be commended for the manner in which he handled that day. Because if umsholozi ebebrikile watime nanghambi and all of that, ngabe kwachitheka igazi into umhlolo angazawubona. Yikho umsholozi what decided ukuthi on that day uzozinikela in the prison to save lives. He's a very peaceful man. Umsholozi akafuni ukuchitha igazi ngegama lakhe. So uphume lapha ethi akafuni ukuthi konakale, ithi ngihambele ngisho indodana yakhe ibime lapha egeyidini. Ubani uEdward ithi umuntu ozongena ufuna ubaba makaqale ngami. But umsholozi wamdoja waphuma wazela yena escort, and as we sit here today uEdward uphile saka. Azange kube khona umuntu ekumele ukuthi adlule phezulu kwakhe.
Right, 0315373000. Ithi ngithatha-ke Nhlanhla Makhoba eMtuba. Uyikakasi Nhlanhla, welcome to Indaba.
Mthiyane, angibingelele.
Siyakumukela.
Ngibingelele naku-Spokesperson Jacob Zuma Foundation. Mthiyane, nihlale nisilandela abantu right kulo msakazi, ingakho ngeke ngidluke kulo msakazi ngohlukaniswa yithuna nani.
Thank you very much. So,
Baba Manyi, I can assure you ukuthi is the radio station le SC mina njengami nje sengineminyaka ilalela engakaze ikhombisa inzondo kumsholozi noma ngasiphi isikhathi, whereas amanye ama radio station ngakhombisa inzondo kumsholozi ekhuluma amanga ngomsholozi, but this one is the right one. I think we have to join it. Ungayilali uhlezi uyilalela
baba.
So ukubonga Baba Manyi ngendlela orepresenta ngayo, not only foundation but urepresent usujike wazoya wanjengomndeni emndenini okaJacob Zuma. Lokho siyakubonga futhi kakhulu. And I can assure you ukuthi we will always give support to Jacob Zuma, as much as I'm coming from the IFP, but I believe as umuntu osuka eKZN ukuthi kumina kubalekile ukuthi support umsholozi. So i-question enginayo Baba Manyi, one, indaba yokudla okudla umsholozi mhlawumbe ungeke udisclose konke, but can you assure us as South Africans, as people in KZN ukuthi umsholozi ukudla akudlayo kuphephile na, because we don't trust these people ukuthi bengambulala. Two, umsholozi uthini ngesupport ayinikezwa South Africa, because I believe ukuthi as much as we mina personally I distance umsholozi ne-100 yabakhona, but i-support kaMsholozi kodwa ibonakele eSouth Africa. Uthini yena mhlawumbe umsholozi ngesupport uke wakhuluma naye?
Sure.
Mhlawumbe ayithola kuba South Africa.
No, thanks Nhlanhla. Ngizothatha ke two more so that Manyi ubaphendule ngokuhlanganyela, right? Ngizothatha umthoko Nxumalo now from kaMbonambi. Zwide ukikakasi.
Njani Sohlaza?
Ngiyaphila kunjani kwena?
Hayi ngibingelele kwena Sohlaza kanye noManyi. No, ngithi nje angibonge kakhulu ukuthi usilandele yena. Thina njengama RT force amakhulu. So yabo nje umthoko kanobhonya siyabonga kakhulu ngoba i-information esiyithola emaphepheni ayifani ne-information esingayithola kwi-foundation nomkhulumeli wayo.
Sure.
So asitatazeli-ke thina, so siyafuna nje uma umsholozi esiphatha Sohlaza isilethele abantu abazositshela into ekuyiyona, ngoba o-WhatsApp ama-Facebook page asitshela into ebhedayo.
Yes.
Siyazi-ke ukuthi leyo kudla Nkosami ngicela usiphendule ukuthi abokuphekela ubani ngoba asibathembi labo sathane laba abafuna ukumtholo babo.
Okay, ngiyakuzwa Mthoko, and then bese ngithatha Anonymous Marisbeck. Mthoko ukikakasi sawubona? Sorry, Anonymous. Yes sir, Anonymous.
Ninjani futhi?
Siyaphila kunjani kwena?
Siyaphila, ngibingelele no Baba Manyi.
Baba.
Yeah. We Mthiyane kukhona ngifisa ukubuza ubaba lapho nokuthi ngiqonde ngoba ufika kuyazi indaba yakhe uformer president. One ukuthi ngoba sekuye uthande kusicacela ukuthi kuma cases akhe badila ama cases akhe nje amajaji imvama badila nomuntu engazothi badila nomuntu wakolenyizwe mhlawumbe nomuntu abangamanje inhloko. Ama case akhe onke imvama akuvami kube ngathi kudilwa nomuntu owala uyahluka kwakhe konke. Kulokho kuyedalwe yini mhlawumbe mabebuza yithi ngempela impilo bebeyichaze. Ngibuza ngoba ngempela awukwazi ukuthi ekseni noma nje manje ngizokhuluma ngokukhunjana usekela kaMongameli uyalashwa ulashelwa impilo yakhe le elokhunyanini, yabo
eRussia.
Yeah, so yazi yena ngeke ngisibonela ngisho ukuthi yena ngisibonela ngayo, kodwa ngeke uzuzo yena kudilwa nalokho nje ngempela kuze kufune ukuthi udokotela owazi wamdlulisela eRussia yena ingoba wayibonini ke.
All right, sure. Right Mzwanele, from Nhlanhla nomthoko bebuza indaba yokudla, then nangu Anonymous.
Well, yeah. Okay, indaba yokudla ngiqale lapho nje we are in the hands of correctional services. Kodwa ngiyathemba nabo ukuthi bayazi nabo ukuthi wonke umuntu akabathembi. So noma bebefuna ukuganga angiboni ukuthi bangakwenza lokho kuganga. Okwamanje akabonakala lutho olukhombisa ukuthi ufuneka sibe newari. Nabantu abaseduze kwakhe laba base correctional services so far abantu nje akakaza complain ngabo ubaba Msholozi. So I think nje singakhuleka nje kancane kodwa I can assure you ukuthi there is enough vigilance ukadiwe lapha.
Okay.
So angiboni ukuganga ngaba khona.
Right.
And in terms of the support and everything that ubaba Msholozi ubhekile ubaba Msholozi and masembuza uthe angeke afele ejele uzophuma lapha ejele. The day ephuma ejele uzozikhulumela ngokwakhe. Uzohamba eSouth Africa le yonke ayikhulumela ngokwakhe atshela abantu eSouth Africa ukuthi what is his take kuyo yonke lento.
What is his take kuyo yonke lento?
Yeah, so
I'm asking you now Manyi. Ithini take?
Angeke ngimscoop manje ufuna ukuthi I don't want to do what he this is reserved for him. Even a spokesperson cannot say this. Into emele simele thina lihlanga aphuma ngalo. Msholozi will address the nation.
Okay.
Will take a tour around the country and will thank the people himself and he will talk to the people himself. So he will express his views. So angifuna ukumfakela amagama emlonyeni ngoba uyazi ukuthi unesikwelede kumele asikhulume nabantu bakhe.
Yeah. And then le amajaji umlaleli wethu uthi kubukeka sengazi ukuthi indlela yena treatwa ngayo ngazi ukuthi sakutreatwa iSouth African and then ubuza ukuthi manicabanga nina nihlaziya why?
Yeah, I think it's a very strategic and important question, this one. President Zuma is not just an ordinary person. He is a symbol of a resistance to oppression. He is a symbol of what the people of South Africa really want. He is a symbol of everything that is against the oppressive, imperialistic and capitalist system. This is why, at an international level, it's very interesting. He may not have gone to a formal education, but perspectives wisdom is just unbelievable. The man is broad, the man is strategic. For instance, even if you look at international world, South Africa, when they do IMF and all of those people, policies South Africa. He was taking South Africa out of that. BRICS is because China nama Russia, although nabo abantu business, kodwa bahluphani ne policy yakho ezitwe. So this is what Msholozi is traveling on. So imperialist forces ge qale lapho ke at an international level badawuchana kumuntu uzomosha lo because bafuna South Africa kube indawo abazenzela nothanda kuyo njengoba bezenzela nje manje.
All right.
Njengoba bezenzela manje.
24 minutes after 6 ukwindaba eGagasini, you'll find this we're streaming it on YouTube as well ku Gagasi FM and ne recording yalo hlelo zokwazi ukuyithola efusificise siphakathi. Podcast yakho uzoyithola ku Gagasi FM app. My guest, spokesperson Sir Jacob Zuma Foundation, Mr. Mzwanele Manyi. Number 0315373000. My guest is Mzwanele Manyi, spokesperson Sir Jacob Zuma Foundation. Sizoba nawe ke Manyi kuze kushaw 7. Mawuna iquestion officer ngikudlulisela yona kundosi ungayibuza la ngizokudlulisela kuyena kusasa uzobe ehleli kulesihlalo hleli kusona. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Sure. Explain this to us. Jacob Zuma Foundation. Jacob Zuma is the former president of the ANC, right? Mm-hmm. And when the African Transformation Movement, we chief of policy and strategy. Isn't this a conflict? Yokuthi umuntu obambe a position as strategic like Indaba policy for a political party, but we spokesperson, so former president of another party.
Yeah, look, I've taken my cue from the judges. If the judges of this country can vote, it means the judges of this country have got a political preference. So if a judge can vote the DA, for instance, but tomorrow you have a tiff between the DA and the ANC, but you can trust that judge that he can take an independent judicial decision, although that judge would have voted DA or ANC or one of the whichever. Now, if that is possible with judges, then it's possible with me. I'm a professional. The fact that I am ATM in my political space does not mean that I can't advise somebody that is ANC, as it were, because the advice actually here is not a political advice. If it was political, President Zuma is probably better qualified to advise me than the other way around. Firstly. Secondly, the Jacob Zuma Foundation, it must be clear, it's not a branch of the ANC. I am contractor to the Jacob Zuma Foundation, which is a foundation that is doing a lot of good work, taking children to school, even the children of EFF, children of the DA, it doesn't matter. Ubabumsholozi, when he considers bursaries, he just looks at it in terms of the need. So people must learn to separate issues. There's absolutely no conflict here.
Yeah, kodwa kuzongivumela akuyona ngiyakuzwa ichaza ngokwamajaji akuyona kodwa into ejwayelekile. I asked because upresident wakho uZungula, he admitted on this show ukuthi yes ikhona lento yokuthi ni project ye-faction ethile ye-ANC. So wakuvuma sitting on that very chair ohleli kuyona. So it's not into ongayidismissa nje kalula uthi abantu abayihlukanisa kalula. It's a question that matters ekutheni sometimes ubonakala entrenched eyintweni ze-RT against Ramaphosa njani njani, but unesikhundla esikhulu in your own political party kuyi-ATM. Akuyona into ejwayelekile.
No, I don't know what entrenched could be RET. You must understand, obviously I've got a political history myself.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people in the RET space would have been people I would have been associated with whilst I was with the ANC. So there's a natural, relationship, as it were.
So you'll forgive abantu abazothi ATM is a project of some faction with ANC?
No, I won't forgive them.
Okay, hold it like that. This is what your president said.
Okay.
If you didn't listen to Indaba, here's what you missed.
There's a view here, Yoguti. You yourself as the ATM, you are in bed with a particular faction with ANC. In this instance, the one Yao, Jacob Zuma and Ace Mahachu.
You know, that rumor is something that they've used to try and discredit us as a party. Now, ATM comes as a party, number one, led by a young person who's not been in politics ever, does not have any scandals, has never been corrupt. So you can't use anything.
But when people see at the time in Andrew or in the build-up, Mr. Manyi was openly known for which side of ANC he was advocating.
Mr. Manyi, I joined. There were also other members. For example, our leader in the Eastern Cape came from the DA. But they never said, this is a formation at DA, because they were trying to discredit and destroy our image as the ATM.
And you don't think they succeeded?
I think they have to a certain extent.
Mr. Sungula, president, were ATM.
Alex Mtiani on Gagasi FM.
Yeah. No, look, I think what becomes important here is the truth. What is the truth? The truth is that the ATM was put together or launched or whatever in June 2018. That's what, and at that time, I was in the thick of things within the ANC. I never even knew them, even when they launched. I didn't even see them. I only became aware of ATM, to be quite honest, somewhere beginning of 2019, as it were. That's when I became. So also this whole notion, others at some point, but Manyi's party, and all that. There's no.
Bajoyine sebephakathi.
Bajoyine sebephakathi mina ngithola sekathi seyivuthiwe indaba sebelontsha nama-province konke ne-top 5 yabo seyigcwele.
Okay. All right, sure. I think that's ufundo. Wow. Okay. Doppelganger or namesake. Mfundo Mabaso from Maryspec.
Baba Alex Mtiani.
Uyangithusa because my colleague producer ohlelo Mfundo Mabaso so ngiyacabanga ukuthi kungenzeka ukuthi he's playing a Manyi on me.
No, so
Sure Mtungu.
Yebo mfethu cha ngiyabulisa lapho nakumzwanele Manyi.
Baba.
Siyahleka nje mfethu noma kubuhlungu. Kubuhlungu ukuthi ubaba namhlanje uboshiwe former president. Abona Mthiyane mfowethu ngizokhuluma iqiniso futhi angazi ukuze kuhlungu sabuzwa ngalobuya besithathu kulobuya kusukubalula yalibesithathu. Intaxa yamaphosi izothatha uZuma, izothatha ubaba wethu phambi kwethu. sidlale ubheke ngiyajabula mawuthi kusasa kuzobe ukhona ubheke icele sidlala ubheke icele wakhuluma manje kwabe indaba wathi ngeke ambophe uZuma sahlala sangamobilize izinyembezi esazikhala ngalo yabiphansi wena Alex Mfiyane into enzekile South Africa ngezwe lephansi akukuthi abantu babethunywa ubani izinyembezi esazikhala ngalo besuku sibuka ukuthatha uformer upresident njenganaliphi izwe leke labopha upresident njenganobani okwaje constitutional court wawuhlala ejele kodwa ngoba ubaba ethanda ukuthula engafuni ukuthi ikuchitheke igazi lomuntu wavuma wahamba kodwa thina inyembezi sazikhala
Mabaso
namanje mfowethu
Mabaso
baba
when ke umsholozi eselalela podcast yalolu hlelo inofisa yazi esekulalela
kunye mfowethu ukuthi simi naye
okay mfundo Mabaso uzophendula manje ngisafuna ukuthatha nje noSiyango bese mlazi bese ubaphendula ndawonye Mqongephe
Bhuti Alex njani
shosho siya
ngithokoza ucosha ithuba Bhuti Alex hayi ngoba ngizonda ubaba umsholoza nginankinga nje naye futhi kunanke kodwa nje ungikhathaza uBhuti Alex ilokho thina njengama South Africans besibuka oma television nasendabeni silalela 2 ade kuyithina abantu base South Africa thina nje esemazingeni aphansi isikhala sithi umthetho usebenza kuthini ucendezela thina ezikhulu eziphezulu hayi uthi nje halamuzi ushiye kanjalo namhlanje mase kuboshwa uformer president sekuthi futhi sesikhala sithi uboshwelane sazini ngomthetho thina ngoba phela amajaji angithi afundele lokho sazini thina ngabe thina sithathe silalele siyabuka ngoba nje mina kungithosile mina noma ngasho ngithosile ukuthi uboshwa kwa former president kodwa kungithosile ukuboshwa komuntu ophezulu ngoba kusinika ukuthi nobe safisa ukwenza something nofusa nokuphula umthetho ngokuthi uphezulu azi ukuthi kaboshwe ayikho ukuthi naye manje adlala amadolo uthi hayi ekho ngakaboshwe ilokho nje mina ngoba ngithi uright noma wrong usaboshwe kodwa ngisabela ukuthi eSouth Africa nathi thina semazingeni aphansi namhlanje sibonile ukuthi umthetho nje awuyalingana uba ubulinganisela umthetho la manje ngazi ke manje masifuna seyithi sikhala futhi kanti yile sifuna kuleliswe
okay
akathi asisazi sifunani thina saphumu isipho somuntu yabo esingamazi ukuthi wenzani ngasikhatsini mase simsupport ngokwesinqu yabo
okay imanje lokho siya all right Manyi I have siya and then khona nomfundo
out ngiqale ngathi the last caller
yes
yeah I think ngiyamuzwa baba ukuthi uthini it is a pity nje ukuthi cha i-example yakhe i-wrong ngumsholozi ngoba lento esikhalelayo thina asukuthi ngoba kuboshwe yena sithi uboshelwani cha into esikhalelayo ukuthi indlela aboshwe ngayo ayihambisani nomthetho issue yethu yikho na constitutional court khona manje isahlezi phezulu kwalolu daba ngakunika iverse and chapter in the constitution ethi before ufakwe ejele you must first go through a trial and it's important babumthane to explain to people ukuthi there is a difference between a trial that happens in a trial court like high court or magistrate court or a motion proceedings which happens in a constitutional court. In the constitution section 12 1b it's very clear that detention without trial is prohibited. Now uPresident Zuma into esikhala ngayo ukuthi lento ethi iconstitution mayenzeke zange yenzeke kuye ukuthi aye ku trial maya ku trial. The difference between what happened and what should have happened is that what should have happened with mawuye ku trial kukhona a whole range of things that you can call witnesses, you can do cross examination, kunengi nje okwenzekalayo in a trial that does not happen in a motion court. This is why i-constitution ithi akube khona i-trial. Also sinenkinga thina ukuthi i-constitutional court it decide ukuba i-court of first instance and in this case maybe a court of first instance as the highest court in the land. It means maseyiqedile ukukhuluma your right to appeal ayisabi khona. So as we speak khona manje umsholozi is the only person in the world who never had a right to appeal. Umsholozi is the only person in the world who did not have a right to mitigate his sentence. Uyabona njalo. So zonke lezi zinto are things esithi thina this was not fair because it was unconstitutional.
So, all right, sure. And then
sakhalela lo kakhulu.
Umfundo wena ube expressa ukuthi I think usebenzisa amagama athi inyembezi ngeke ziwele phansi the way abakhala ngayo mhla umsholozi ejele.
Yeah.
Bewumane kuyicomment nje ukuthi abantu bacabanga kanjani.
Yeah, no. So we note that, and namnyathemba ukuthi ngeke ziwele phansi. Kodwa ukuthi kushukuthini lokho kuzobonakala ekuhambeni kwesikhathi.
All right, on the socials, uvukani Ngcobo, why NPA ifuna udokotela wayo? Udokotela we-SNDF kanti akusiye government. What is so special about this doctor, or are they trying to get someone who will release JZ's illness to the media? And then Emmanuel Mtambo Nosiviwe Ngakula failed the country, but she is promoted to the highest position in parliament. And then Usihle Mkhize, Mr. Zuma is too old. He doesn't deserve to be sitting there. He should be at home. They must just leave him alone. And then bese kuzoba uZakes Mfeka. Ask Mr. Manyi ukuthi what beef does Mr. Zuma have with the police minister uCele and the current president? And then bese kuzoba Mbuzi Khuzwayo. This guy is legendary. Uwavuka nomsholoza kalona iwesheweshe elasebenza ngaphansi kamsholoza sewumengameli iqede lamlaxaza esephumile ekuphatheni. And then bese kuzoba khona uLife Doc Ntuli ngazile from yesterday ukuthi lizohlehla lelicala because unqamalala akekho grand, which is what udokotela akwenzile khona ezohlala yonke inyanga esibhedlela. And then bese kuzoba undabenhle Nkosi kahle kahle bafunani kuZuma yini lengaka ebenza bangakhona ukuphila ngokuthula uZuma bengamiyekile maybe baphushwa abathile. And then uMondli Ndlovu nginombuzo ngabe uMr agrees ngesikhathi egula iNPA yaziqashela udokotela ukuhlola isimo sakhe yini ngabe inkantolo iyangabaza yini iziqu nelicense kadokotela weSANDF. And then Andile Kokota, can you please ask Manyi about Indaba kaSizwe Nyambi, who has been arrested at Johannesburg for carrying a t-shirt written Wenzeni uZuma, ucharged incitement to commit public violence. Is supporting JZ a crime now? Ama-comments nje lawa amanye, but there was a question la ethi ngokwazi kwakho yini beef between umsholozi noCele no Ramaphosa? And then bese kuzoba ke umlaleli lo okhuluma ngendaba yalensizwa eboshelwe uqoka iskiphe sithi Wenzeni uZuma. Mr. Manyi?
Yeah. I don't know of any beef between umsholozi no Ndosi no Ramaphosa. I don't know. Umsholozi akana beef na anybody. Abantu bane beef naye. Angazi ukuthi bamfunane umsholozi kodwa yena umuntu nje oyipholele noma ungaya kwakhe enkandlo uthole eyihlekela konke akana agenda negative against anybody. Bayamsukela nje umsholozi. So angazi ukuthi empeleni bamfunane.
Okay.
Ule ndaba yeSandav ye doctor.
Yeah.
We are very disappointed Tina C Foundation ukuthi ngempela as I've said earlier ukuthi such an institution ebheke even heads of state kube khona nje some lousy lawyer ezothi no ufuna uDr Bayo ngabwenze njani khona manje already because of that nonsensical approach we've had a whole range of medical issues being discussed in the media, trivializing the issue of ukugula kwamsholozi. So all of those things are just things just khombisa ukuthi bafuna ukumehlisa isithunzi and all that. So if as the foundation I can tell you now we're going to also advise ubamsholozi ukuthi no, he must tell his lawyers ukuthi they must fight this thing yokuthi udoctor azwenza second opinion yani. This is a state doctor. I mean, umsholozi, as we speak here now, is not even head of state. So he is not in control of medical professionals. And those people have got their own oaths and their own integrity.
Sure.
I think that whole thing, in fact, is even an attack on the professional integrity of doctors, an attack even on the Sandav Military Hospital as an institution. So it must be rejected with the contempt it deserves.
Sure.
Lastly, on the issue of
the guy with t-shirt, Wenzeni Zuma.
No, I think that is it is. I don't know the details, but what I have seen in the social media, there can be a crime. Ukubamba iskipa esibhala nami if ukhona umuntu oneskipa esibhale Wenzeni Zuma ngiyacela unginikeze nami ufuna ukusigqoka ke ngibona ukuthi ngiyoboshelwane nyami ngiyasifuna leskipa esibhale Wenzeni Zuma ngoba nami ngila nje ngisho nangamanje as we speak naye nebephethe nje iskipa mina ngiyazishola ukuthi Wenzeni Zuma asibone ukuthi kuzokwenzakalani emva kwaloko kodwa awukho umthetho eSouth Africa ethi uma uphethe iskip esibhale wenzeni uZuma and ngizibonile lapho ku social media bese plasticini and all of that mhlambi uyathengisa lo muntu or wenzani kodwa uphethe nje iskip esibhale wenzeni uZuma I don't even know what to be the charge.
All right, 1843. My guest, Mzwanele Manyi, spokesperson Jacob Zuma Foundation. We've spoken about impilo former president, and we're talking about ukuzodingida. He says ukuthi mangabe sephuma ejele uzohamba izwe lonke ehamba ejela abantu into angakazasitshele yona. Inamba ke 031 537 3000.
Bibeka mnandi.
1846. Sengamasho now. Mahlekihla?
Baba ndang khangani.
Siyaphila kunjani kuwena?
Isithokoze mfethu sinosilethele insizwa mfethu uyilethile lapha estudio.
Umanyi.
Ibaba ngibonge kakhulu. Ngibonge kakhulu.
Yes.
Ake ngibonge ukugcina futhi nokuthi usilethele ubhekile kusasa mfethu ke umdedele sithi ukumtinyela nje nathi kancane.
Kona uzosuka ushintshe umqondo angabe seza mawusho njalo.
Hayi mfethu simlindele impela simlindele kabi ngoba wabona na ukuthi amtata kanjani efike ngapha.
Okay. No, kulungile ufone kusasa but nangumanye namhlanje we Jacob Zuma Foundation.
Ake angibonge lensizwa message baba manje ake ngibuze mfethu yazi kunento edidayo siwumphakathi. Iqaleni likamsholozi noma i-situation yababuzuma. Kunento edidayo ukuthi uZuma la kule case yakhe akukho la esibona khona according to into ebhalwe phansi la abambophele yona ukuthi khona la abulale khona nokhona la ntshontshe khona because thina sinezihlobo ebulayo kodwa zike igwethu zike ziseqaleni kuthiwe iqala zomgwebela ngaphandle ngoba ngunkosikazi wakhe ukhulelwe kureconsider zonke lezo zinto but ngibuka la ubaba uZuma ukuthi already iminyaka yakhe asithi nje i-8 unemndeni la mhlawumbe khona la unonkosikazi kunengane mhlawumbe esancane noma esawusana yini ebangela ukuthi zingabhekwa zonke lezi inhlaka lezi kuvele nje umuntu kuthiwa nje mnqamla juqu eqede futhi kungathiwa mhlawumbe noma 20,000 bail or whatever bail because thina ngapha ehlobeni outside world.
Yes. Okay. Uzokuphendula mahlekihla. Ngithatha nosiyahlatshwayo ke eNewcastle siya ukugagasi sabona.
Sanibona njani?
Si right mahayise kunjani?
Hayi ngiyaphila. Ngizoqala ngithi sikwi second South African apartheid now. Ngisho lokho ngezathu ezivimbayo ukwenza izinto ngesikhathi sobandlululo lapha elini. 2 i-South Africa njengamanje abaphethe uformer president Jacob Zuma bamsaba ngoba wayeku-intelligent ye-ANC ngalesa sikhathi eyakwazi ukuthi igudluze u-F.W. de Klerk in power. So lo muntu ngasonke isikhathi uyohlezi eyi-threat kuyimpimpi ezazikhona zobandlululo ukuthi siliphethe izwe that doesn't mean ukuthi impimpi ezazikhona ayisekho namanje.
All right. Okay, ngiyakuzwa siya. Sure, sisuke kusiyasiya kumsawe inkosi escourt. Msawe inkosi ukugagasi sabona?
Njani?
Yes msa.
Njani?
Siyaphila mntaka baba kunjani kuwena?
Hayi siyaphila nathi.
Yes sir.
Ngibingelele lesambe sethu lapha. Aphansi kababa Jacob Zuma Foundation. Mthiyane ngathi uPaul wasekhini sasivakashela ubaba mabuya khulu lapho manicabanga. Ngathi mina iANC safike izakhe kabusha ngoba ungena kababuZuma esihlalweni yangi wangena ukhona abanenzondo naye abangamthathi ukuthi ephathe into ke manje ngifuna ucaciseleka ngayo kwezomthetho kulesi sikhathi lesi khona ukuthi makuthiwa lokho usupporte ubabuZuma kuthiwa uzobekwa amacala ukuthi umelene nomthetho futhi lawo macala njalo ukuthi ukumelana nomthetho kuyinto ekanjani
Okay. All right, Mr. Manyi.
Yeah. Let me just conclude qala ngale ndaba kaSizwe Nyambi. Ukuthi even this slogans ukuthi wenze noZuma is a slogan that predates this unrest that we've just had into endala. So if ugqoke uwenze noZuma bayihlanganisa kanjani nento yamanje ngoba kade abakhona lento, we can go back to all the choruses ze-ANC i-chorus endala le. So ngiyeke ke lapho ke latho.
Any interest yokuyilandela legally yokumlekelela uNyambi?
I've seen ukuthi abe free Zuma
movement
badila ngayo, so sibhekile kodwa nathi were interested because this is a travesty of justice from where we sit, but
sure,
sizoyeke free Zuma idile ngayo kodwa sibhekile.
Yeah,
number one. Number two, the issue ukuthi wenzeni kangaka unqamalala ukuthi anikwe umnqamla juqu onjengalo ile nathi esingayazi ngoba if ulalela amanye amajaji ofana noJafta athi lento yenziwe umsholozi okungaye ku-commission etshelwe yi-constitutional court bathi phecelezi it's a civil contempt, and uthi ujustice Jafta i-civil contempt must punishment yayo must be civil remedies, not the punitive remedies. Not last me corner. Particularly because we have a person onganayo ne right you appeal ne right you wenzani onke lento le bamphuce nje onke amalungelo akhe umsholozi ikho namanje this court ibusy rescission application as it were. So sihlezi nje la nathi le ngxaki ephethe lo baphoqoda ukubuza lo mbuzo ile nathi esiphethe ukuthi awu cha umthetho uma uhamba kanje kusho ukuthi ke kuzoba nzima eSouth Africa, so asihambisane nayo lento.
All right. Indaba egagasini 1852. My guest is Mzwanele Manyi. Sengithatha ke umxolisi intshingila from eDandi. Sawona mxolisi. Sorry sayambile. Mxolisi?
Yebo Alex njani?
Sure mfethu kunjani kwena?
Hayi siyaphila bhuta, ngibingelele isambili la baba uManyi.
Baba.
Yebo baba. Sibonga kakhulu baba uManyi. Ngimisebenzi osenzele yona up to this far malana nobaba wethu. Inhliziyo zethu zibhlungu ngalendlela, but before ngiqhubeke nje awengele kukhona lo mlaleli okongena kuqala ngicishe bekungobesa lo ukwamphendula bawumanye umphendule kahle, kodwa ngifuna ukudlulisa nje ukuthi ungabuye khathaza ngabantu abafana nongobesa sasinabo naphambilini namanje sisenabo nabese sibabiza ukuthi impimpi abantu abakwazi ngisho ukudefend iapartheid ababethi apartheid yayingcono kunalesi sikhathi samanje. Bese ngiphinde ngiqhubeka baba uManyi yazi bengacela manje isicelo lesi manje ukuthi akaza akwenze sho ngayo yonke indlela ngoba uyabona ukuthi le mpilo ebhekene nobaba umsholozi ayibhekene nayo nobaba umsholozi nje ngqo kodwa ibhekene nathi sonke thina abantu abamnyama. Kunamanje nje ngikhuluma kunezi nje efana no declare ngiyaxolisa ukusebenzisa ulimi ukuthi nje masikhuluma lodaba futhi siyaqhaqhazela thina esazi leli zisukaphi nalo. Namhlanje ubaba wethu ufakwe ejele engekho kodwa kunabantu abafana no declare aba-enjoy wonke ama-benefit.
Okay.
Yenza sure ukuthi ubaba wethu ngigcine nje ukuthi laba abafuna ukwenza okubi bangatholi lelo thuba lelo.
All right. No sikuzwile umxolisi njengegama lakhe uxolisile ke before ngize ngimcorrect. Ngithatha uNkosinathi Ndlovu nawo wasempangeni. Gatsheni?
Yebo baba sikhangana uNkosikhona Ndlovu la obuka.
Yes Gatsheni.
Ngizoba mfishane nje. Baba usikhangana ngicela ukuphendula lo mlaleli oke wakhuluma lapha kuba usikhangana ngiba ukubaba uManya ngibange ngiseza umphendulo wathi sengiyongena endlini ngoba ngisemgwaqeni. Obebuza ukuthi luthini uluvo likaMsholozi ngesupporta nayo. Ngicela ukuthi angathi abalaleli bengaka-understand ukuthi abantu abafana nomsholozi nabantu abafana nongizwa bake bavela uma kuthiwa basakwazi uku-addressa imedia noma i-general public bakusuke bengasakwazi ukukhuluma. So asilalele lona izwi le-foundation okuthi sikholela ukuthi izwi likaMsholozi masidayiswe yilo kuba konakele asenalo elinye ithemba ngaphandle kwe-Jacob Zuma Foundation ukuthi umlomo kaMsholozi.
Okay, no, kulungile Manyi. Yes. Sure.
I thought I had responded to the question.
Yeah, no.
Oh, pinned. No, njengoba sengishilo baba ukuthi umsholozi ukubhekile konke lokho kwenzakalayo uzozikhulumela ngokwakhe uthema ke phuma lapha silungise ukuthi the day ephuma uzophuma ayikhulumela ngokwakhe. So mangathi ngiyakhuluma mina njenge spokesperson, I'll shortchange him and I don't want to scoop him.
Sure.
Angifuna ukumthathela amagama emlonyeni wakhe kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi umsholozi okokuqala nje ubathanda bonke abantu bala eSouth Africa, uyazi ukuthi uthandwa kanjani, uyakwazi lokho ukuthi he's the only person on a connection nabantu base South Africa. Ngabe umsholozi ukhona njengamanje ebezoma nje ebezoyiyela nakule ndaba abanye abasabayo kuya kuzo ngoba yena kuna no go area kuyo. No go area for yena ebezoya noma kuphi akhulume nabantu ngoba he's a people's person.
Sure.
Very peaceful person. Kodwa ke uthe umsholozi siyibuzile le ndaba ukuthi sithini abantwini kuyo yonke into, wathi cha ngiyeza ngizozikhulumela ngokwami ngizoyikhulumela nabantu base South Africa masephumile.
Okay. So ekhulumeni kwenu naye khona support ayithola from leadership here ANC, whether we top 6 or ku president or amanye ama comrades mayentshela
awucha let me just say as discuss lokho kodwa it didn't come up.
Why did it take you so long to come up with that answer? Let me rephrase my question then. When your fellow comrade, makuthi ngempela kune separation of powers, uthi judiciary yenza umsebenzi wawo, there was no executive interference. Obviously, when a comrade is going through this like they've done before, usakwayithola phone call evela ku ANC president.
Look, I mean, let's talk about something that is public. What is public? What is public is that after umsholozi eboshiwe on the 7th of July, 8th, I think it was a Thursday, there was a public address by President Ramaphosa. Zange albeke akhulumela kayi-1 ngumsholozi nokurecognize nje ukuthi into enjengale izolo yenzekile. Zange nje ayibhade nokuyibhada nje. So that should just tell you ukuthi wenzakalani. So but umsholozi uyirespecta kabi ANC, urespecta kabi government. Akafuni ukuthi kube uyo ohamba phambili akhulume kabi ngogovernment and all of that. Ngiyabeka nje mina ama facts as the foundation ukuthi okwenzekile in response to this question ukuthi if anything ebekumele ukuthi sympathetic or whatever thina besilindele on the national address eyenziwa umongameli wezwe who's the president also of the ANC to say hey uza kwethu ngapha kwenzakele kanje athi isizweni relaxani kanje cha kwaba ngathi nje zanga kwenzeke lutho
wamkhalisa kodwa eshonele umfowabo yakhumbula ku address yokushona ka Jacob Zuma wamkhalisa
nalokho kwenzeka a few days after lokho kwenzekile, a few days nakhona sekenza sekemhlanganisa nenqwaba nje abantu abayi10 abashonelwe and all of that. Ileka emfowabo nayo yenzeka earlier kwathuleka kwathi do first day, second day, all of that. Some day ekugcineni sekephethe ilist yabantu abayi20 abashonelwe wamfaka nje kulo list and all of that. Nakhona kwasilimaza kwi foundation lokuthi how kanti kwenzakalani la ngoba this is somebody who's supposed to be your own comrade, very close, but the way udila ngaye ngakhona udila ngaye ngathi udila nje
This is what he said, Manyi, publicly. Listen to this.
Ulalelu Alex Mtiyane on Indaba.
I was a president at some point in this country. Uzuma because akafundile ngaki economy.
We have come through a very dark period over the last 9 years.
If the rand goes down, Uzuma. If we are downgraded, Uzuma. Akasekho Uzuma embusweni. Ubani manje?
Akuna kuthethisana between mina noNcamalala. Sizwana kahle nje.
My babo. Thixo George Cook.
Indaba with Alex Mtiyane on Gagasi FM.
Sizona kabi. Mr. Manyi, bende kwazi sibekanye nawe here.
Yeah, boy kakhulu. Before I go, ama question kaNdusi ayithunje kuphela. Ngokusheshsha. Okokuqala nje ukuthi simbonile eraider ama baked beans no fish oil nezimpuphu zabantu. When is he going to raid ama drugs eHillbrow? When is he going to raid the prostitution and human trafficking at Kempton Park nasePitori, when is he going to raid these firearms as a Phoenix ezibulela abantu bakithi? When is he going to go do the raid? Njoba simbonile impuphu zabantu ichethela ngaphansi wayishisa and all of that. And secondly, ukuthi le impuphu ayithathe wayishisa ibeyiphi inhliziyo yokuthi athathe le impuphu amhlamba zinike ifuthela abantu bazidluthile bazithathe ngendlela wrong. Bekuzohluphana ukuthi athatha aphinda unika abanye abantu abahlulekile abahluphekayo. We've got child-headed families, we've got NGOs, we've got orphanages. Bekwenze njani ukuze kuthatha ukudla kule nhlupheko engaka uthatha kuyoshiswa? Sinenkinga siyi foundation about that.
Right. Mnumzane Manyi, ubeka lama questions because tomorrow I have General Begicale here. So we will play the recording and I know uzophendula. Asibonga ukuthi ubekanye nathi.
Ba.
All right. Mnumzane Manyi, ongo spokesperson we Jacob Zuma Foundation. This is Indaba kaKasini. Lo hlelo ke mangabe uthi ke ulificisele phakathi uzolithola nje ivideo yalo on our platforms kwi-app Kakasi FM na ku YouTube channel yeKakasi as well, and ne video yayo uzoyithola kuyona i-app Kakasi FM.
Special open line on Mondays at 7. Talk to Alex. Indaba. Talking my business izinto. Nazo zonke indaba zabasha. Indaba.